Frank Sanchez ready to go. Here's the tail of the tape. He's 28 years old, 6'4", 227. He's moving up in weight, trying to become a full-fledged, full-sized heavyweight because the guy's at the very top of the division there. 6'7", 6'9", 260 plus. Brian Howard, good right hand. He's 40 years old though. 6'3", 210. Slight reach advantage for Frank Sanchez out of Cuba. Let's go to the ring. And Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Microsoft Theater here in downtown Los Angeles, Premier Boxing Champions presents our next attraction. Introducing our three judges scoring from ringside, we have Carla Cais, Edward Hernandez Sr., and Fernando Villarreal. All right, fans, here we go. 10 rounds of boxing scheduled in our co-main event of the evening featuring heavyweights in the ring. Introducing to you first on my left, he is fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trunks with gray trim, fighting out of Philadelphia by way of Lake Wales, Florida. He weighed in at a ready 210 pounds. His record stands at 15 wins, 3 losses, with 12 big wins coming by way of knockout. Introducing the hard-hitting Brian MVP Howard. And his opponent across the ring on my right, he is fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue trunks with red trim. Originally from Guantanamo, Cuba, now fighting out of Miami, Florida. He weighed in at 227.5 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with a record of 15 wins, no losses, 11 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the renowned former Cuban national amateur standout and the current undefeated world ranked contender, introducing the Cuban Flash, Frank Sanchez. And our referee in charge, now to give instructions, Jerry Cantu.
Gentlemen, you were given your instructions in the dressing room. Estás recibiendo sus instrucciones en el camerino. Buena suerte. Touch them up. Good luck to both of you.
Frank Sanchez, 28 years old. He is 15-0. The impressive amateur career in Cuba, 214-6. Former Cuban national champion. Closed captioning is available for tonight's telecast. And if you'd like to hear the broadcast in Spanish, you can click over to the simulcast on Fox Deportes. Frank Sanchez turning pro in 2017. Very busy man. There's Brian Howard. Again, he is 40 years old. He comes off an impressive win. Carlos Negron, who you saw there in the highlights, he knocked him out in one round. Howard with the win. He's got a very good right hand, Joe Goose, and you wonder if it's going to be enough to keep Sanchez at bay.
Well, Sanchez has seen a lot of right hands in his career. Over 200 amateur fights, only 6 losses. And as a pro, he's undefeated. But, right now, Howard is, as you look at him, he's a very strong-looking guy. He's smart. And he's looking for that right hand, like he just landed there, kind of grazed Sanchez, but he's very strong early in the fight. Let's see if he's in condition to go the 10 rounds that it's slated for. That's the question in my mind.
Howard doubling up on the jab there earlier, and then again, he will load up on that right hand, but it is a very good right hand. You have to be aware of it. Long jab there by Sanchez. Again, very skilled, has that incredible amateur background, and he is the total package coming in undefeated here tonight.
And if you noticed, Sanchez has taken a different stance in this fight. He's holding his ground. He's coming forward. Where in the last fight we saw him that we announced against Joey DeJaco, he really gave him a lot of ground and boxed a lot. It looks like he's doing what he said he was going to do.
Yeah, he's trying to fight from that middle ground like his trainer and him were working on. And he's doing a good job of it, because we usually see him jumping around and dancing around the ring, and usually out of the distance where he needs to be making some contact.
Exactly.
It's a good point, Joe Lennox. Yeah, he seems to be a little more committed now, moving forward and holding his ground. Strong jab there, and jabs back once again as Howard answers back with his own jab.
Yeah, I'm looking at Howard, and I'm like, he's got that left hand pretty low, and he throws that jab and he brings it right back to his stomach. That's just a recipe for disaster right there.
Yeah, that right hand there by Sanchez is cocked and ready to go as he comes out, fires right off the shoulder.
And it is. Lennox is right. I mean, I love that when I see a guy in front of you. But some of those guys use that to their advantage. They sucker you in with that low left hand, and they do the Mayweather roll and come back and counter you. But you're right. It's dangerous, and it doesn't always work. But one thing about Sanchez is basically, look, again, he had over 200 amateur fights, and it's hard to break that style. In the amateurs, you fight 3 rounds, and you got to box a lot in the amateurs. That's what works. That's what you get points for scoring. In pros, it's a little bit different. So it's going to take time for him to settle down and get really that pro style down, which it looks like he's advancing.
But he's working on it, because that was what part of my problem, saying that still got that amateur style. Now he's developing into more of a pro style. Pro style is the pro style where you don't jump around too much. You kind of step around.
Final seconds, round number 1. Frank Sanchez a little more aggressive in round number 1. Brian Howard able to hold his ground.
Welcome back to Los Angeles, California, the Microsoft Theater. There you see Brian Howard. He's making just his second appearance at heavyweight, and I'm joined by Joe Goosen and Lennox Lewis. Guys, he told us in the fighter meetings that the biggest thing for him was actually getting hit by heavyweights. That's something he had to work on. Joe?
Yeah, when somebody hits you, heavyweights can hit hard. So if you're not in a heavyweight class and you get hit by a heavyweight, you know that you've been hit by a heavyweight, because it's not just the power, it's the weight with the power that's coming.
Howard spins around now and eats a hook as Sanchez catches him with that, but Howard a little over-aggressive in that move.
Yeah, you got to watch out for that. Try not to turn your back against a puncher, else you're going to be in danger.
Sanchez moved back there as well. Howard, again, that right hand is dangerous. That is his money shot, and that's his chance in this fight. And that's a jab there by Sanchez. You know, we saw Frank Sanchez, fellas, just before the COVID shutdown in March in Brooklyn, and that was against Joey DeVeco. And it was in that fight. Lennox, I think we had a running commentary regarding just how much he should press. Again, he's a very good boxer, but you wonder what should be the proper level of aggression in going for the knockout.
Well, it's not really that. It's breaking down your opponent. Breaking down your opponent so you can clear the way for a clean shot from you. So what I usually do is clear away from my right hand to get through. So I throw a couple different punches. I throw left hooks, body punches, and then throw that right hand.
Do you think he did enough in that fight, Lennox?
Yeah, I think he did enough, but he's got a lot of work to do, and he's looked like he's gone back to the gym and done some work with his training, because I've definitely seen a difference in Frank Sanchez in this fight.
Sanchez definitely looking more aggressive. Your thoughts on that, Joe?
No, I agree with Lennox. Look, I mean, this is what he didn't do against DeVeco. And so I like what I'm seeing right now. And I'm sure he's going to blend a little bit of boxing with a little bit of press. But I think he also feels confident that he's stronger than Howard. And he's going after him right now. He's looking for a knockout. And I told you, he's had 2 decisions in his last 2 fights. To be a heavyweight, you want to make that money, you want to get that respect. You got to start knocking guys out, and I think that's what he's doing tonight. He's looking for that, and I'm talking about Sanchez.
When Sanchez had Brian up against the ropes, he's got to step back a little bit, give himself a little room to punch. That's not what he's doing. He's smothering his punches.
Final 30 seconds of round number 2. Howard with a decent uppercut off the ropes there as well. Able to gain Sanchez's respect, but Sanchez definitely more aggressive here. Misses with the right hand and stays in the pocket.
Howard
and a hard jab there from Sanchez.
Howard has good moving qualities. He moves well. He doesn't get hit too easy. He's got good side-to-side movement with his head.
Final seconds here. Again, that's a 40-year-old man in there against Frank Sanchez. That's round number 2. Luis Ortiz looking for another big-time fight. He could be a top-tier opponent. Comes off that loss to Deontay Wilder. He was taking a shot at the heavyweight championship of the world. He was knocked out with one brutal right hand from Deontay Wilder, but was boxing very well before that. Here, round number 3, Frank Sanchez and Brian Howard. Sanchez in the blue and red trunks. Sanchez now follows through in a winging right hand. Very aggressive here against Howard.
Yeah, Sanchez mounted a good attack there. What he needs to do is not only throw to the head, but he's got to throw to the body and give himself a little punching room.
Well, this is a different version of Frank Sanchez. I mean, no question, fellas. I mean, he was doing nothing like this against Joey DeVeco. Now, DeVeco's a very different opponent.
Yeah.
Short, stocky, sturdy. But he was up on his toes, Joe Goosen, and just kind of dancing and flicking out the jab. This is a very different fighter.
Yeah, you're right. And DeVeco was actually a little bit better counterpuncher than Howard. Howard's more of a one-punch counterpuncher, where Joey was, he could hit you with either hand. Now, that being said, Howard on the inside is not real game to work. He'll tie you up a little bit more because he likes to fight from a little bit of distance. But if you watched Howard's old tapes, and I'm sure Frank Sanchez and his people did, you saw that he didn't do well down the stretch, that he would tire and tie up a little bit like he did against Rivera. So, you know, I think Sanchez is putting the pressure on him to kind of tire him out and to maybe take him out halfway at the halfway point or later in this fight.
Howard got a late start to boxing, as did Michael Coffey. We made a lot about that with Coffey, the Marine, who was in the previous fight. But Howard started boxing at the age of 26. He's a good football player, played semi-pro football for several years. Also took 3 years off after he had his first professional loss. He took that loss pretty hard. But he comes back here, and he's had some decent fights in his pro career, and now earns a shot against the very talented Frank Sanchez.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, look, tonight we had Negron fight, and Negron won his fight in the first round. Look, Howard knocked him out in the first round, so he can knock out big guys, Brian Howard.
Cuffing
and I'm not discounting
Sanchez.
I'm not discounting him in this fight at all, but he's got to do more right now.
Yeah.
All the work's being done by Sanchez right now.
Right, Howard needs to do something. I mean, he's not listening to his trainer. His trainer told him actually to come out, throw a lot more jabs, and come in with an uppercut. I haven't seen no uppercut yet from him. So right now, he's just worried about Sanchez's offense when he should be worried about his own offense.
Sanchez hitting with a right hand to the body off that jab. Again, Sanchez is a very highly skilled fighter, so very difficult for Howard to get that. He's wobbled, he's hit by an uppercut, and a right hand puts him down. Wow.
Now that's the uppercut that his trainer was asking for, and he finally threw it. And I'm afraid that he heard me.
That was good. It was a left hook right uppercut, and the uppercut, like you said, Brian, really did the damage.
Final seconds here in this round, so it looks like Howard can survive, but that was a dynamite combination by Frank Sanchez to get the first knockdown of this fight. We will keep it right here and go to the corner. That is Henry Garcia, Ryan Garcia's father, by the way, the dynamite lightweight. As we go back into the corner, and there's the knockdown. That uppercut did the damage, and then a hook and a multitude of punches from Sanchez.
There's a right uppercut, then he's going to hit him with a hook and a right hand, right?
Yeah, and
right here. Hold on, here we go. Boom, and here comes the right hand. Bam.
You know, most guys don't really notice when they hurt a guy, but Sanchez recognized straight away that he hurt him and took advantage of it and went after him.
That's right. We were talking about that earlier in the dressing room tonight. Yeah. Good right hand. Boy.
And there it is, Lennox. That's just a momentary stagger that Sanchez immediately took advantage of.
Yeah, he identified that Howard was hurt right when he hit him, so that's why he jumped on him so quickly and then threw that combo and put him on the canvas. Let's see if Howard can come out and do something here, because I think it's going to be more of the same if he doesn't get an offense going.
So round number 4, and let's see if Brian Howard can clear his head. Hurt badly on that very game to get back up. Unfortunate for him, we were in the final seconds of round number 3. Look at the CompuBox numbers. Wow, 48-8 in punches landed, as Sanchez has just made the most of this fight. Hard hook, and down goes Howard again.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, third one. What do you right? How do you feel? Want to go? Okay, let's go.
Great job. Boy, he's taking some of the starch out of Brian Howard. He comes back firing. Let's see if Sanchez can close the show.
Brian Howard's doing the right thing, and that's what you should do. If you're hurt, you got to hold the guy. Make sure he doesn't hit you anymore.
Chopping right hand over the top, and a hook puts Howard down, the third knockdown in the fight.
And Jerry Cantu won't let this go on much longer. I think if he goes down, well, obviously if he goes down again, it'll be over. But
7.
Jerry Cantu being a very veteran referee, he's thinking about stopping it right now.
Let's go.
All right, here we go.
Wow, he's letting it go. He let Howard come to him, and he wandered away to his right. Frank Sanchez now has a great opportunity to finish this fight. Howard doing his best, and he kind of snuggles into him and is able to muffle some of those shots.
Well, one thing Howard's doing wrong is standing there. He should be moving on his feet, not making himself an easy target.
Howard tries with his right hand, but the starch is out of his shots right now. Yeah, he's been buzzed. I mean, there's no question.
Oh,
hard right hand again. Howard is staggered. Sanchez moving in for the kill.
This is where Sanchez should be going to the body right now, because Howard is very aware of protecting his head right now. Like that.
Another uppercut.
Good.
And a right hand from Sanchez. Howard fires back here.
With a left hook.
That right uppercut just missed, Brian.
He's got to be careful when he's throwing that right uppercut, because
there you go.
Hit him with a jab and a right hand. And
That's it.
Jerry Cantu says that is enough. Hard shots from Frank Sanchez, and he closes the show with a knockout. Impressive work from Frank Sanchez, who fought like a very different man than he did several months ago.
It really suits him well, and this is why I said I think he's got a future in this division right now. He's going to get a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, a little bit smarter, and I think we're seeing the progression tonight.
We are seeing the progression. I was impressed with the way how he came out and started this fight, and he wasn't in too much of a hurry. The only time he got in a hurry is when he hurt the guy, and that's the time you're supposed to be in a hurry. So he did a good job in this fight. I was really impressed.
Back in Los Angeles, Frank Sanchez, when we saw him in March, put on a boxing clinic, was just up on his toes and flicking out a jab. Here, in attack mode against Brian Howard, knocks him down, I believe 4 times. And actually, as we see the stoppage here, watch Jerry Cantu bring Howard back, and you can see the damage done to Howard. He can't even sit down on his own, almost falls back into the ropes. So just a very game and competitive Brian Howard, but he gets stopped and was just bounced around there in that 4th round, as Frank Sanchez, just a very different fighter here tonight, and he gets a knockout victory. The main event is coming up. Luis Ortiz, 41 years old, looks to bounce back from the knockout loss to Deontay Wilder. Was fighting very well in that fight, was up on all 3 judges' scorecards. He'll take on Alexander Flores coming up next in our main event. But Frank Sanchez could be a star in this division. He's now 16-0. Let's get the official call from Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes, 7 seconds in round number 4. Our referee in charge, Jerry Cantu, stops the contest. He is the winner by way of knockout, and he is still undefeated. The Cuban Flash, Frank Sanchez.
Let's look at the CompuBox numbers. Frank Sanchez, again, aggressive in this fight, landing 66 punches, outlanding Howard 66-11. Again, if you got a chance to see the fight back in March, it was a very different Frank Sanchez against Joey DeVaco. Here, power punches 49-4 in favor of Sanchez as well.